Crime is sexy.
Pablo Escobar was a man of mystery, a man who had evaded authorities for over a decade. He was known for his daring and cunning ways and for being impossible to catch. So how did he suddenly become so easy to find? Who betrayed the king of cocaine? In this video, I will use testimonies from Escobar's own son to uncover the inconsistencies surrounding his father's death. The official account of Pablo Escobar's death is that he was shot by the police while trying to escape. But there's more than one official version of what happened.
As you know, the official version of what happened is that Pablo Escobar was shot by the police while trying to escape.
Well, we have more than one official version. If you ask the North Americans, they will tell you we were the ones who killed Pablo Escobar. And if you ask the Colombian police, they will tell you we were the ones.
According to the US government, they were the ones who killed him, while the Colombian police would tell you they were the ones. This makes it difficult to trust the government's official account. But according to the official account, on the 3rd of December 1993, a 6-month-long $100 million hunt for Escobar came to its conclusion when he was located at his aunt's house in his hometown of Medellin. This part of the account is true, but it begs the question, how did they track him? According to the authorities, Escobar had made a phone call to his son.
Él me dice a los, no sé, habrá sido la quinta llamada. Ahorita te llamo. Fue las últimas palabras que me dijo.
And the call was tapped and traced. Within an hour of the call, Escobar was involved in a deadly shootout with members of Los Pepes and the Colombian army. But this is difficult to believe, because Escobar hated phones and had used them in the past to trace and kill his own enemies. He would often say, "Don't use the telephone because it's death."
He always teach me not to use the telephone because it was death.
Also, Medellin was heavily under surveillance at the time, and yet, according to the official account, Escobar not only made a call, he also said his name, requested to speak to his son, and then had a lengthy conversation with him. It turns out this part of the official account is true, but it prompts us to ask another question. Why? Why would he make a call that had almost a 100% chance of leading to his capture? To answer this question, it's important to understand the relationship he shared with his family. Pablo Escobar was married to Maria Victoria Henao, and together they had 2 children, Juan Pablo, now known as Sebastian Marroquin, and a girl named Manuela. Escobar might have had many lovers outside his marriage, but he only had one wife, and only recognized the kids she had for him. In the 70s, Juan Pablo Escobar had a privileged childhood. He grew up in a magnificent mansion with large buildings, a go-kart racing track, a private zoo, huge swimming pools, a fleet of exotic cars and helicopters, and hundreds of maids and guards at his beck and call. Despite the seemingly magical setting, there was a looming feeling of danger. This was because from that same house, Pablo ran the Medellin cartel, which supplied 80% of the world's cocaine. When Juan Pablo was old enough, he tried to change his father. He recalled, "When I saw the bombs in the news, I told him, look at what's going on. You don't have to do this. You should not do this. A lot of innocent people are dying." He answered me, "Look, I didn't invent this. They used this against my family, my beloved ones." But Pablo wasn't going to change. From then on, everything went smoothly for the Escobar family until Pablo made a terrible error. He blew up a plane with 100 innocent passengers, and unfortunately for him, 2 Americans were also on board. This gave the US government an excuse to intervene in Escobar's capture. The US sponsored a Colombian-run paramilitary group called Search Block, worked with a group of anti-Escobar vigilantes, and colluded with rival cartels. Eventually, Pablo Escobar gave in and agreed to retire to a private prison, La Catedral. But while he was there, his family had to move between hideouts, never staying in one place for more than a few days, and living in constant fear of waking up with a gun pointed at their faces. Pablo even taught them how to kill themselves to avoid capture and torture. Every day that Pablo spent in La Catedral, he lost allies. Most died fighting for him, and the ones who survived handed themselves over to the authorities. Ultimately, Pablo's family was forced to lodge in a hotel in Bogotá, where they could be killed at any moment. Pablo was aware of this, and he was also aware that no one really wanted his family, but they wouldn't hesitate to kill them to get him if that was the cost. So he hid his family in La Casa Azul, a hideout he had built in the past. He knew he had to make a choice quickly. He could betray his family and live, or betray himself and give his family a second chance at life. He chose the latter and ran up to the barrio rooftops of Medellin with El Limón, his personal bodyguard. He was certain that he would meet his death, and he probably knew this. There are no recordings of his death, only pictures and the location of his gunshot wounds. According to official reports, Pablo Escobar was found dead with a bullet wound through his right ear, the same method of suicide he had taught his son and wife in order to avoid torture and capture. So, if you're still wondering who betrayed Pablo Escobar, you have your answer. It was Pablo Escobar himself. Only Pablo could have ever betrayed Pablo. Only Escobar could have ever killed Escobar. And only his loving family could have caused that monster of a man to make the ultimate sacrifice.